just going on YouTube. This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review the 7th album by singer Rihanna. Basically, this product is called Unapologetic, and it came out in the fall of 2012. Now, the thing about this particular album is this is the 4th of a series of albums that Rihanna dropped annually from about the late 2000s. As far as those fairs can happen, she had some excellent type fairs, particularly between 2005 and 2012. Particularly between 2005 and 2012, the only real year she took off in any fashion was just 2008, and even in that year, she particularly dropped a reloaded version of her Good Girl Gone Bad album from 2007. So it's a good type pitch. She was there every year from 2005 to 2012. Excellent type pitch with some of that type fare. This is another classic here from Rihanna. Now, I want to say I gave Loud from 2010 to 10 out of 10 when I reviewed that back in December or November 2024, but it's been a little bit since I reviewed Rihanna, but I basically covered every single album of hers up from 2005 to 2012 with the exception of 2011's Talk That Talk. So I'm going to get to that one soon enough with some of those type pitches. I do remember songs off that particular album like We Found Love. So Rihanna off this particular stage is really starting to get real royalized in pitches like that. Just some excellent type conducts kind of get here within the pitch of just really reaching like peaks and just overall this accolades within a pretty high grade. She's getting number ones off every album pitch just like that. So it's just a real high grade kind of flight and just loftiness within the pitch as far as what's going to happen. Just the impact of it, you would think. This is kind of the gloss that for a while out of the two, I would say between like the mid 2000s to about the 3rd or 4th year. I would say from about the mid-2000s to about the 3rd or 4th year of the 2010s, she was a pretty central figure in like pop music and R&B as far as this person had. But this is a particular Dynamite type one. Loud was a classic. I get the feeling that Talk That Talk from 2011 is probably a classic, and Rated R was extremely good within some of those type pitches from what I remember of it. I do own that album, but I need to throw it more on my iPod as far as this person had. But I look after it here. This one is real decadent within the pitch. I just had to say the actual aspect of this album just has blitzer after blitzer. There's some huge heavy hitters on here within pitches like that. Eminem and Future and their primer on this particular album. I like Mickey Echo helping out with the hit single Stay. There's some pitches like that. There's some David Guetta help on here as far as what's first going to happen. Stargate, who helped out. Neo helps with a number of helps out with the least. I want to say the song Diamonds. So some of these type ones he helps out on here. Mike Will made it's on here in his prime as far as this pitch can happen. So it has some of that leftover trap. Appreciating like the concept of like early 2010s trap. It has a little bit of that on here, which it just fleshes that out in the particular sound as Future and Chief Keef were starting to do that around this particular time. But this album juggles like mixtape trap. It also juggles makeshift and juggles mixtape trap, FSFW kind of makeshift, and then a little bit of EDM pitches like that, some of those type formats, along with some other type things. Just a lot of good jump and bounce within some of those type formats. Just real good amalgamation of a product that's just very relevant to like the early 2010s. Pretty notable type album, definitely a banner type one, easy enough to kind of see within those pitches. I feel like this album did not get as many number ones as Rihanna typically did. I think it was kind of within the format that she kind of, in my opinion, this was kind of like a victory lap of an album, just kind of. This is pretty much like prime era Rihanna, to be able to say that. This is where she had the Midas touch. Really kind of a disappointment that she did not drop another album in 2013. But like I said, she had been here every year since 2005. So it's just within the pitch as far as saying it's too bad that just within the pitch that there wasn't like a 2013, 2014. Because I think this album is so capital within the pitch behind it. Would have been some pretty blistering type of appeal to have gotten a 2013 Rihanna album. Probably in 2014 as well as far as those pitches can happen. But just paying attention to the appeal that this particular album had, it's just a real kind of disappointment that there weren't further type ones. I mean, at this stage, Rihanna's kind of like System of a Down, where folks just consistently are just salivating for more Rihanna because of the pitch of what she particularly did just with these Dynamite type ones. It's kind of the aspect that this was a real accentuated type one. Really, this is the one that probably will leave. This is probably one of the albums that could probably leave folks the most hungry within the aspect of just the quality that's on it here. This is definitely, in my opinion, this is like Rihanna's Eminem show or Relapse, some of those type pitches, or Marshall Mathers LP within certain pitches. I just question within the appeals what the popular consensus of Rihanna's most popular album is. Some folks might say it's Loud, some folks might say it's Rated R, some of those type pitches, but I definitely feel like this is a pretty, this overall banner type one, real just extreme capital within the pitch behind. But I look after it here. So there were 5 singles off this product, and there is a deluxe edition to this album. I'm going to review that particular variation of it. So there is a deluxe edition to this album. I'm going to review that particular version of it. So within these appeals, 5 singles off this product. This album lasted from about the late summer of 2012 to about the summer of 2013, so it had a pretty good life cycle as far as this pitch can happen. But Diamonds was the lead single. This is a song that hit number 1. Pretty banner type song. This has over 1 billion plays on Spotify, so it's pretty noteworthy. I think for the good part of it, this is a pretty routine kind of bop to kind of get throughout 2010s type day fare within the pitch. It's like an early 2010s kind of new era pop gloss kind of get within these aspects. Just a banner and kind of royal veneer about this particular song. Rihanna really has some elegance on this particular song. song, just really in lofty type pitch as far as this person can have real excellent type appeal, good type conduct to disgracefulness, and this is definitely like enjoying some social conduct as far as this person can happen. But it's kind of the more enjoyment, not so much where you have to go out some of those type pitches where you have to mingle and kind of make connections. It's kind of conduct of just more as you please within the form, and just a little bit more frivolous within the concept of saying I'll go out if I want to. Some of those type pitches, maybe I'll socialize, maybe I won't. Some of those, just having more freedom of it as far as this pitch can happen. It's really like the royal kind of sheen of this particular song as far as this pitch can happen. There's some songs like that on here as well. I would also say, I'm trying to think which one it is. Oh yeah, the Lost in Paradise is kind of like that as well, but just to say within those pitches. But Stay is a classic one here. This further solidifies Rihanna's just songwriting ability within some of those type pitches. I was really thoroughly surprised that this song didn't hit #1, but it was a top 3 single, which is kind of underappreciated within certain senses. Just in certain sense, I mean, I feel like this is a popular enough song, but it's just surprising it didn't hit #1. Stay is like a classic kind of moody pop makeshift ballad that can get within those aspects. It's durable and a 2010 staple. I definitely feel like here for the longest while, this is one that was just constantly played on the radio. Some of those type formats, rhythmic and just overall standard kind of typical kind of just pop type fashions with it. And this is like good. The song is definitely like some long day kind of forlornness as far as this pitch can have. So just definite excellent type one. Nails the appeal. Just a glum type song, just in the aspect of having like some good just bell the ball type aspects is something that is kind of in a foul day, ruffled, bad hair day, some of those type pitches, but just the conduct of nailing that appeal of having this is like Adele type vibes within the pitch behind it, how she would get these moody type ones. It's just interesting aspect, definite interesting aspect for Rihanna and Mickey Echo to be able to nail this appeal and make such a megaton hit out of it as far as those fairs going to happen. So good type pitch. Pour It Up is a real classic type one as well. Really like the appeal of this song. Didn't listen to it as much back in the day. Didn't hear it on more rhythmic and pop type radio, but it is an excellent type one. Top 20 single. It's like a rowdier kind of vintage 2010s mixtape burner kind of get here. Just excellent kind of night lounging within the pitch behind it. This is like some two-tone kind of fun. So this is the aspect. Like I said, this album kind of switches. This particular album switches two sides of the coin where it does have the makeshift day fair, some of those type pitches like your day life, and it also has the nightlife where it's like it also has the nightlife where it's like, alright, that shit's done. Now it's time to get towards the lounging. Now it's time to get towards the lounging and turn up and just the crunk moments as far as those aspects kind of happen. And this particular album, just within the pitch behind it, is a lot more vicious an album, I would say, compared to like Rihanna in the past. This is actually one that feels like, hey, you actually might have like a mild kind of warning sign within some of these type pitches. There's some songs on here like Numb, Pour It Up, Jump, some of these type ones that are for a pop album that's kind of more banner and like a more commercial market that's going to be next to folks like, you know, Katy Perry and Adele and Lady Gaga and folks like that and Beyonce, some of these type of folks within these type of pitches and other folks within that particular aspect. This is actually, I like the concept of it. This is actually the pitch behind this, the fact that pop albums usually are not this ferocious within the aspect. This has a pretty snarling type bite. It's like the bite of a hyena within the pitch behind as far as this person has. So this is good type of appeal. Considering that this was the third single, it's interesting that this hit the top 20 because usually songs this vicious are not on the pop charts that high. A good type tone, two-tone fun within the pitch behind it. Right now is kind of one of those type ones as well. This is kind of a little bit more turned up than normal for like pop radio, but I like the pitch behind it as well. Right now is kind of like a relative kind of makeshift day fair stretch, kind of getting like EDM licks as far as those first can have. So this basically takes like the stretch of something like you would get from like a song like Stay. It's not really like a moody or sullen type song, but it's just in the pitch as far as saying it's just like a makeshift dredge kind of song that just really nails the format of how EDM was supposed to happen in 2012, 2013. So just really prime era EDM, half SFW, half turn up, and just an overall gem to kind of get within that particular fair. So it's just one that pulls out the vibe of having like the turn up of something you hear in like an EDM kind of dance floor, but just within the pitch of just being something you could listen to while having to clock in some of those particular type formats within the pitch of just having standard responsibilities, SFW or otherwise within some of those type pitches. So it just really nails the appeal. Now this is a song right now did not chart that heavily. It was a top 50 single. It was still a pretty good aspect to kind of get that there. Just the attempt behind it. I would not have problems with hearing the particular. These should not. I definitely feel like a song like Right Now would not be a song to really complain about within some of those type formats. It's more ferocious within the aspect, but it's not really like that's a problem within the pitches behind it. So it's good type tone. What Now is the 5th single. Now this one's like this is a real similar type format to Stay. It's like a good cousin of Stay, I'd have to say here. Same fare of like Soul and Malaise, I'd have to say within the pitch behind it. It's kind of a grand makeshift drew, I'd have to say about this particular song. Just overall dope type one. Just real good 1-2 punch, that same typical type format. Just the fog of just like the typical concept of just like preoccupied kind of dredge, just with an aspect like that particular kind of just, that particular kind of malign and just overall just the particular kind of malign and disjure as far as those aspects can have. So it's good type 1. This is one that was like a top 25 single. So it's good type pitch. It's probably one that you might have heard on like an offhanded day, some of those type format. It's not as huge as Stay, but just within the format having like good 1-2 punches for like maybe every other Tuesday or every other Wednesday, some of those type pitches, you might catch that song back on those particular days. But pretty close to a staple. It's just kind of the pitch. That's kind of what I felt about this particular album, is just the fair that this is a classic album here, but it's just kind of the pitch that these singles just did not chart as super heavily compared to Rihanna like in like 2010s. Not to say it didn't have the ability. These were good songs. Just kind of the pitch that it I feel like what folks wanted more from Rihanna around this time was more songs like Stay, and possibly more songs like Half of Me, some of those type pitches, just kind of within four. This is kind of the blend. Carly Rae Jepsen was kind of having problems with this around this time as well. It's just kind of the format of this, having like, is this tricky for pop artists to kind of be able to nail songs on like rhythmic kind of charts that were something that's fun, but also the concept of just getting down to business as far as this first going to happen. It's just kind of a typical product, and this particular album has more jive on it. Not to say like that's a problem whatsoever. It's just kind of the pitch that the markets just didn't, the chart appeal just didn't respect the quality of this album, I'd say, within the pitch. So that's kind of the format there, but I look after it. So just to be able to say within the pitch, so yeah, I'm reviewing the deluxe edition, which has 3 extra songs, which is 2 remixes to Diamonds, which is a pretty good type pitch, and then the extra song Half of Me, as far as those fairs going to happen. Definitely recommend getting the deluxe edition. So out of the songs on here, I wound up recommending 16 out of 17. So really the only song I don't recommend on this whole album would just be the Diamonds, Greg Salto kind of down-tempo remix, which just about that one, this just kind of makes it a more bravado, kind of just pasted type one within the pitch, just a little bit more dramatic type fashion. Just didn't have as much aspect behind it, just a little bit more theatrical within the pitch. It just was not as much composed within the pitch behind it. I feel like that particular song, like I like the royal kind of gloss type vibe of the original Diamonds, and then the Dave Odd remix is pretty good within the pitch as far as having like a more folksy kind of tint about it. It's kind of an acoustic type flair about it, but the other one was just, the dramatic type fashion of the Greg Salto remix just didn't have as much full bound kind of feel. But it's not to say it's bad. It's just some pitch. It just is not to the taste of what I probably would have seen with the flair behind it. But yeah, this album gets a 10 out of 10. So just to go down the list with some of these. Love Song with Future is pretty much one of the best songs on here. It's just pretty much what you see is what you get with this particular one. Not to say that in like a derogatory way, but this is an excellent, very vicious song on here. It's like a classic kind of trap pop blend to kind of get within the aspects. It's new and refreshing for 2012 as far as this pitch can happen. First team up for the most part with Rihanna and Future. It's just a good conduct of what mixtape trap was kind of doing around this particular time, bubbling and boiling over from like the 2011 days, getting to some of these type pitches where it was starting to reach commercial markets. Rihanna was definitely like a great segue to make this particular kind of happen. So it's excellent type appeal. It's like a nice Future collab to kind of get on top of that. So this real type pitch, this real melodic, real affable, nice one to gel out to. Pitches like that get pretty tore up. It's not as full, but I mean, I think Rihanna probably had some drinks in her system within the appeal as far as these pitches. Not like she was doing it around the time, but just the pitch is a good song to get tore up to. The type fair for some of that. Future definitely had that particular Future definitely had that particular kind of swamped appeal, so that's a real nice one. Just like some of Future's hits, like Turn on the Lights and some of those type of appeals, some of those type pitches. I forget the other one. Some of those ones like Turn on the Lights and Never End off of Pluto, some of those type pitches. So good type appeal. Numb is an excellent type one as well. This has Eminem on there, which is an excellent type pitch. Eminem was pretty quiet in 2012, so it's like a secret song to kind of see what he was up to around those times, and he basically knocks this song out of the park. It's this excellent type pitch. Rihanna nails this song as well. The song's like a super snarled kind of night venue bubbler to kind of get here, just getting melted. I would definitely say great song to get tore up to within some of those type pitches. It's pretty much one of the most vicious songs on this album, and I had to say, like I was saying before, it's real ballistic. Eminem definitely multiplies the viciousness of this song, and I'd say this is a real nice appeal, this real ferocious type one, this sort of song. This probably should have been a single. I would have probably almost chosen this one. I don't know how high it would have charted. The popularity on Spotify is really not that high. I mean, for an Eminem song, I was really surprised that it only has 44 million plays. You know, the Future song has far more plays than the Eminem song, which is surprising. There's just some other ones on here, like all of the singles did better than this particular song. The Chris Brown song did better than the Eminem song, so it's just kind of within the pitch of that particular song. It just didn't have as much appeal, but it is definitely very favored in my opinion within the pitch behind it, so good type of appeal. Fresh Out the Runway is a real nice one. It's like a feeling hella quick and awake kind of cruise out to kind of get within the aspects of it. Just go ham definitely in some blurry times as far as those pitches can have. So just a good type one for just really being ferocious, just really having some pretty ballistic type commerce within the pitch, just within the aspect of this. Fast Times in Ridgemont High, some of those particular type pitches. Not really sure if that's like the correct quote for it, but just kind of the aspect of this moving fast within some of those type formats as far as the fares that just kind of things being blurry as far as those aspects going to have with this. So just real nice, glitzy type of feel, real ferocious type one. This is another one that really has the blitzing type aspect behind it. It's kind of more commerce centric, but it's just kind of pitch of just being in a hurry and some of those type aspects, just having a pretty fiery type time, so it really has that appeal. Nice one to really have some good, nice one to really have some good quick glamour. Nobody's Business with Chris Brown is a quality one as well. Some of these type pitches here, it's like a dope neighborhood kind of frolic to kind of get this definite strut music as far as those local type fairs going to happen. Springtime duo, I'd feel like here, just a good frolic type one within some of those type formats, just kind of hop and bop. This is also a pretty good venue hit. So look within the tone, just a basic kind of bounce up one, just typical kind of neighborhood type formats. There's actually not a ton of neighborhood songs on here for the most part. A lot of this is more amidst like the social fury of it, whether it is kind of more vehicle bound or just in the pitch, it is more venue bound within some of those type aspects of really being amidst like the conduct. There's actually not a ton of more songs, just more house bound, some of those type formats, just more strut type ones for like gas station runs, some of those type pitches. But I would say that like the song that kind of has like some, I would also say that No Love Allowed is pretty much a neighborhood type one as well. I think both these songs kind of have Chris Brown. Chris Brown is not as designated. It does state that Nobody's Business has Chris Brown on there, but I want to say No Love Allowed also has Chris Brown on there. Just like his background vocals, pitches like that. It's like a throwback kind of mid-2000s kind of Rihanna to kind of get within the aspects of it. Just sunny frolic and like a neighborhood sense that I'd say here. Just good song for some drinks for us. This pitch kind of have like a good cold lemonade, cold beer, some of those type pitches. Just kind of the frolic of June and August type fare. Good throwback to old Rihanna from 2005, 2006, some of those type pitches. Just kind of the format of it. Just pretty much just typical kind of strut type music within the aspect. Just kind of smoke a stogie, some of those type fares. Just kind of hop and bop. Jump is a pretty stellar one as well. Now this is another one of these ferocious type ones I was talking about. This is like amidst like the Dance Club Fury. I'd had to say here, samples Jenny One's Pony from back in the 90s. Good type pitch for that. Not full bound samples it, but has pretty good aesthetic to that particular song. It's real prolific commotion as far as this pitch is going to happen here. This particular album definitely has blazers. Like I was saying, this is definitely one of those definite blackout type pitch within the vibe of this particular song. Great song to get crunk to. So this particular song just pulls off the appeal, really having like the hammerings just within it as far as those first going to happen. This should definitely be a template for how pop albums should kind of be within the pitch behind it. Just the aspect of how this particular vibe is kind of nailed within the pitch behind it. Just real, I question if Adele could do a song like this or other folks like that. Katy Perry could get this ferocious within some of those type aspects within the tone. Be a good type fare to be able to see it, but look after here some good type formats. Half of Me is another quality one. Now this is more in like the SFW type territory. It's like a sobering kind of makeshift dreary and fatigue kind of get within those aspects. Probably could have been a single within some of those type fares. It's kind of some SFW kind of afternoons as far as those pitches can have. So just good, works like a good 1, 2, 3 type punch with Stay and What Now, some of those type fares. It's one of those typical kind of piano sobering type ballads that just is more hard on your sleeve kind of just bloodletting within a more SFW sense within the format behind it. Good type pitch for some of that there. It's kind of Muzak for like the pitch as far as those fares going to happen. Diamonds, the Dave Odd mix is a nice one as well. I probably would listen for the most part to the original Diamonds the most, but this is a nice one within the pitch. Does have some extra type flair to be able to enhance the song. It's like a nice and hollow kind of smoky reissue, I'd have to say here. Some EDM kind of folk, some EDM folk about this particular song, I'd have to say here. Kind of has like some mild kind of acousticness about it. It's kind of like the song Wake Me Up by Avicii, some of those type pitches, but it actually came out a year before that song. It's just within that particular type format, and it's like a feel the bass, kind of get loud as far as this pitch can happen. This has a little bit more Diamonds, the Dave Odd mix has a little bit more commotion than the original Diamonds. The original Diamonds is a little bit more ambient, but this is just a good, nice one kind of get for like a jumping type vibe with the more dance-oriented type stuff. And say, Lost in Paradise is a nice one as well. It's like this song gives Kanye West kind of art pop kind of vibes as far as this pitch can happen. Takes it back to like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, some of those type pitches. It's kind of like a starry step out, I had to say here, within some of those type fashions. It's kind of Big City Lights pitches like that. Just more jazz and spruce as far as those aspects going to happen. So just Met Gala type stuff, pitches like that where it's going to be more centric to more commotion, just in a more kind of frou-frou type sense, or this something with a little bit more ritziness within fashion behind it. It's a good type pitch. I don't know as many full-bound songs that Rihanna's been on Kanye West, but I do want to say that they do have some degree of affiliations kind of within the aspect of like, not to say that they wouldn't, but it's just within the pitch as far as in that particular format, as far as like some relative kind of step out within like the pitch of just something that kind of feels like Kid Cudi, some of those type vibes within the pitch behind it, Kanye, some of those type folks, other folks like that, kind of some artsy kind of nights. And say Get It Over With is a quality one as well. This is kind of in between like SFW and kind of a more personable type one. This like After Effects kind of drama and malaise kind of get within the aspects here. Kind of some rainy kind of day drifting where it is kind of raining. I would say it's kind of some halfway rainy kind of day drifting within the aspects I'd have to say of it. Just kind of a makeshift song. It's kind of like a makeshift kind of album cut as far as those pitch kind of. So it's kind of a makeshift song, but it's just not one designated as a single. So what I mean by that within some of those type pitches, it's kind of the format of something that could probably be blaring. It's in like a Tibble type format of just something that probably would be like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock p.m. type dredge within the pitch. That's just not something you'd hear on like a standard kind of rhythmic radio like Stay or What Now. Some of those type pitches, so just extra type fare for that. I think that basically takes care of it in terms of the songs off this particular album that have to do with it here. I think I talked about every last one. So yeah, this album gets a 10 out of 10. The social score I'm going to definitely give a 10 out of 10 as well. Just the blisteriness of this appeal, the concoctedness what this album nailed between nailing mixtape trap and its prime, being able to do that. Some of these SFW type ones, the good blend of the EDM type songs, some of those type pitches, just amalgamating it. This very blistering for a pop album, just something that you probably could get overtly crunk to as far as this pitch can happen. Just having the format of switching between day fare and night fare, some of those type pitches, having your 2 o'clock p.m. type dredge, to like the 10 o'clock p.m. type blitzing as far as those pitches can happen. Just really nails the vibes. Just the aspect, does it with finesse. It's casual. These hits are pretty known and casual within the pitch behind this, has the particular aspect just having a lot of notoriety. The guests are on here, pitches like that. The beats are very excellent within some of these type pitches. Stargate produced some of these, and Mike Will made it produce Pour It Up's good type pitch for some of these. It really has the format. So in terms of the future, that's kind of the riddle. That's kind of the $1,000,000 question as far as what's the future for Rihanna as far as this pitch can happen. Now, recently when she was at the Met Gala, she particularly announced her third pregnancy as far as this pitch can happen. So that's probably what's going to be preoccupying things for 2025 as far as this pitch can happen. But there may be some degree of a hope that Rihanna ever drops that next album within the pitch. But for the most part, I only really have 2 more albums to Rihanna that are at least official. I have her 2011 album, which is on the way. I have that scheduled as far as what's going to happen. Then I have to get to her 2016 album, Anta, and then that pretty much takes care of it. And then Rihanna's basically taken care of, not counting her unofficial mixtape. So it's within the pitch. I do want to review a couple of those. If they have some new stuff on there, it's going to be kind of similar to like the Eminem type formats of just finding ones that are like the most noteworthy, that have the most interesting and kind of appealing type extra songs. But if I find them, I'll definitely do them within pitches like that. But this is a classic here, easy enough to kind of see that, just kind of a banner type pitch and an easy kind of 2010 staple.